A very good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of KSI Morning Brief. To begin with, global markets. Distressed debt investors will be on the lookout for bankruptcy filings after retailers sought court protection at a record pace in the first half of the year. Meanwhile, a light calendar year is expected in the primary markets. The debt exchange for AMC Entertainment Holdings, the largest US cinema chain, expires this week after the deadline was initially extended. NBC International, the largest franchisee of Pizza Hut restaurants in the US, filed for bankruptcy last week. More US retail companies sought bankruptcy protection in the first half of 2020 than in any other comparable period, while energy filings piled up at the fastest pace since oil prices plunged in 2016. In a year where a classic 60 to 40 allocation has affirmed the success of this time-tested strategy, JP Morgan is joining the list of Wall Street banks that are calling for its demise in the coming years. Historically, financial advisors will tell their clients to keep 60% of cash in stocks and the rest in highly rated bonds, with the idea that the portfolio would capture the dramatic long-term gains achieved by equities while depending on the safe fixed income assets like government bonds to rally during any short-term drawdowns in the stock markets. By their estimation, a portfolio allocating 20% to bonds, 40% to hybrids, and 40% to stocks could offer an additional 50 basis points of returns over the traditional 60 to 40 portfolio. The world's refining industry today is in pain like never before. The top names of the industry, which collectively processed well over 2 trillion worth of oil last year, are giants such as ExxonMobil and Royal Dutch Shell. They are also like Sinopec of China and Indian Oil Corporation, as well as large independents like Marathon Petroleum and Valero Energy. Just a few weeks ago, the outlook appeared to be improving for the world's biggest oil consumers. Demand in China was almost back to pre-virus levels, and US consumption was gradually rebounding. Now, a second wave of infections has prompted Beijing to lock down hundreds of thousands of residents. Looking at some updates from global news. Intel said on Friday it will invest 254 million US dollars in geo platforms, joining a roster of high-profile investors including Facebook, General Atlantic, and Silver Lake that had backed India's top telecom operator in recent months. The American chipmaker's investment arm said it is acquiring a 0.39% stake in geo platforms, giving the Indian firm a valuation of 65 billion US dollars. Intel Capital is the 12th investor to buy a stake in Geo Platforms, which has raised more than 15.5 billion US dollars by selling a 25% stake since April this year. Books by prominent Hong Kong pro-democracy figures have become unavailable in Chinese-ruled cities' public libraries as they are being reviewed to see whether they violated new national security law, a government department said on Sunday. Looking at some COVID-19 updates around the world, Tokyo confirmed 131 new cases exceeding 100 for the third day in a row and hitting a new 2 months high. India also reported its highest single-day spike during the weekend, with 22,771 new confirmed cases for a total of more than 648,000, including 18,655 deaths. Russia marked a milestone as the death toll rose above 10,000. The National Coronavirus Task Force also reported 6,632 new infections, raising the total for the outbreak to 674,515. Remdesivir, the first drug shown to be effective against the coronavirus, will be distributed under an unusual agreement with the federal government that establishes non-negotiable prices and prioritizes American patients. It will be sold for $520 per vial or $3,120 per treatment course to hospitals for treatments of patients with private insurance, according to the Department of Health and Human Services and Gilead Sciences. The price will be set at $390 per vial or $2,340 per treatment course for patients on government-sponsored insurance, and for those in other countries with national healthcare systems. The drug will be sold only in the United States through September, meaning American patients will receive almost the entirety of Gilead's output, more than 500,000 treatment courses. That's it we have for you on KSI Morning Brief today. Join us tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. for more updates. See you. Goodbye.